Guten Tag, liebe Leute. Welcome back to my channel Deutschflix, where we make learning German as fun as watching your favorite show. And today we are tackling the ultimate German headache, which is determining the correct article. In the previous episode, we saw that we have articles for every gender. For example, for masculine, we say der. For feminine, we say die. And for neutral, it is das. If you've ever felt personally victimized by German articles, you are not alone. But don't worry, today I'll give you the best tricks ever to guess the article like a pro. Before we dive in and go through each tricks individually, here's a quick disclaimer. You cannot always rely on these tricks as they may be exceptions too. However, they can be very useful for exams and everyday conversations. Los geht's. Okay. So first up we have der, the article for masculine words. So you can think of something strong, powerful and manly. Here's the first trick. If any noun refers to male people, male person, you want to guess the article, always go for der. Zum Beispiel, for example, Vater, which means father, masculine. Onkel, which means uncle, again masculine. Second trick, most of the professions that refer to men always take der. Male professions. So let's take the easy examples. Lehrer, male teacher, so it is always der. Pilot, male pilot, again der. So in German language, we have this thing that we have two words for a profession. So if you want to create a female profession out of it, all you have to do is just write in at the end. So Lehrerin becomes female teacher and Pilotin becomes female pilot. However, there are exceptions as well wherein we do not have to add just in at the end. We also do some other changes, but let's not talk about it today. Now, all the days, months, and seasons are masculine. Days, months, seasons. We can cover them in upcoming episode. So for now, let's discuss only one example for each. For day, let's take our favorite day, Sunday, which is Sonntag. For month, my favorite month is December, Dezember. And for season, we are taking spring, which is called Frühling. So my name translates to German word Frühling. All the directions are masculine in nature. For example, Norden, north, Süden, south, Westen, west, Osten, east. All of them are masculine. Even weather elements, they are masculine. For example, Regen, which means rain, or Schnee, which means snow. Drinks and beverages are also masculine most of the time, but we do have exceptions here. Zum Beispiel, for example, Wein oder Wodka. But the popular exception is Bier. Even Wasser is das Wasser. There are also certain endings when you see them at the end, then you can also guess the article. Let's discuss these endings one by one. Okay, so if any noun is ending in er, link, ik, ismus, or, ist, aunt, you can go with der. Now what I'll do is I'll write some examples. Kater, which means male cat, masculine, der. Or you can also write computer. For link, let's write Schmetterling, which means butterfly. Schmetterling. Even we saw season, right? Frühling, which was there. For ik, you can write Honig, which means honey. Depending on the region, the pronunciation differs. So either you can say Honig or you say Honisch. For ismus, let's take the easiest example, Optimismus, which means optimism. For or, Motor. For ist, Pianist. And for aunt, Praktikant. Which means intern. Now popular exception here is Messer, the word for knife, and it is not der, it is das. So you cannot rely on the tricks 100% or all the time. Okay, so we are done discussing the articles for der. It's time for die. Think of something elegant or classy, like a German lady sipping espresso in a cafe. Now in case of der, we saw that all the male people take der. In case of die, female people, female person will take die. Zum Beispiel, for example, Mutter, which means mother, die, or Tante, the word for aunt, again die. Now second, male professions were taking der, so female professions will take die. Very easy to remember. For female profession, all we have to do is take the male profession and end it with in. Now it becomes female teacher, Lehrerin. Or Pilotin, female pilot. Okay, so in case of female person, the popular exception is Mädchen, the word for girl, which is das. But by the end of this video, you'll get to know why Mädchen is considered neutral. Now, in case of die as well, we have so many endings to talk about. So let's start with e or height, kite, unk, ei, ie, ens, ans, eon, shaft, Uhr, ich. Okay, now let's write the examples. Wolke, the word for cloud. For height, Krankheit, which means disease. For kite, Möglichkeit, which means possibility. Zeitung, newspaper. Bäckerei, bakery. Melody, intelligence. Elegance. For Eon, let's take Information. 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 For Shaft, let's take Freundschaft. Then we have Uhr, Natur, nature. And ich, Musik. So you can't see Musik, I'll write it over here. Okay, so that's it for T. Now we can discuss our last article, which is das. Okay, so think of a robot which is like cold, emotionless, or gender neutral. Okay, so first trick, that colors and metals, most of the time they take das as an article. Zum Beispiel das Blau, the blue, oder das Rot for red. And for metals we can write Silber, silver, das Silber. Okay, second trick, very important, that the nouns which are derived from infinitives, they take das as an article. Now what do I mean by that? What I mean is, you can take any verb. Let's take hören. Now if you write the first letter capital, it becomes the noun. And it will take the article das. Das hören means the listening. Similarly, das Sprechen, the speaking. Das Spielen, the playing. So you can take any verb, you write the first letter capital, so you can also derive nouns from infinitives. Now for das, you have to memorize these endings. Ial, o, shen, line, nis. For ial, initial, initial. For o, our favorite word, auto. Shen, let's take Mädchen. And now you got the idea why a girl is neutral in German. Because this noun is ending in shen. Now for line we can take Fräulein. Which means young lady. For something easy, Museum. It's not museum, museum. And for nis, we can take Zeugnis. which means certificate. We are left with one more. We can also take meant, instrument. It takes does it. Okay, so we also have an app available both on Play Store as well as App Store revolving around der, die, das. Install this application as well. You can open, and at the bottom in the middle you can see rules section, so you can go through these rules, and next to rules we have game section, so you can hit the random words. So it will give you a random word. Let's take Roman. So you have to guess the article. Is it like der, die, or das? Now, not necessarily that they are a part of trick. All they want you to memorize the article. That is the purpose of this application. Now, Roman is der Roman. And there you have it, der, die, das made easy. If you learned something today, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment your favorite German word below. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.
Like and subscribe.